especially us as black men, we don't know how to process much of anything. We don't know how to process much of anything
Mm-hmm.
in a way that does not show as anger.
Hey, welcome back to Black Press. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
Now let's get to it. What I was thinking about the other day. So I just went through. Well, I just not went through, but I just um was present in the process of a couple different funerals,
Mm-hmm.
and there was one of a young man, um, and his brother
Mm-hmm.
pretty much lost it
Mm-hmm.
during the funeral, and it was because for me he lost it because we don't know how to process grief,
Yeah.
especially us as black men.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how to process much of anything. We don't know how to process much of anything
Mm-hmm.
in a way that does not show as anger. If I'm mad, obviously you're gonna see anger. If I'm sad,
Mm-hmm.
only way I know how to express it is through anger. If I'm frustrated, the only way I know how to express it is through anger. If I am depressed, the only way I know how to express it is through anger. You know, if I'm shoot, even in the community, some people like will be happy and go and jump somebody or fight somebody. Like that's how you enjoy life. And it made me I'm growing better and understanding that we are definitely we don't when they say you don't have emotional intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
it's understanding how to act and respond in certain situations. Being able to understand that, okay, I'm angry right now, but I'm going to have enough emotional intelligence to know that I shouldn't, slap somebody around, or I shouldn't lose my cool, or but that's what I bring that all the way around to say. I think that's a lot of things that Chris Brown might be having issues with, as
Mm-hmm.
well as just a lot of men. And it's not because, and a lot of it is because we haven't been taught, and another portion of it is we don't want to because it's hard, it's tough.
Mm-hmm.
It's easier to be tough than it is to be
So,
soft. You know why? And that's a whole nother rabbit hole, but because I get better results from being tough.
I don't think so.
I get better life results.
In life,
I get better life
but
results from being tough.
in life, but
I
you
get
also have to have some sort of softness to you because if you don't, you get hardened, and it's hard to break through to
yeah,
somebody
but
that's hard.
to be hard is to be protected.
It's a protective shell, but what's inside?
Hmm.
It's not always good to
To
have
be,
this hard sentiment about you.
yeah, because if you're hard on the outside and when you're protecting what's on the inside can never grow. So therefore, the inside is still that young child that just wants to be loved or just wants to be understood, but you never get to that point where you can do that because you've grown so hard on the outside that you don't even know how to express to someone that, yo, I just want you to understand where I'm at right now.
It's like
And I don't know
it's
how
a
to tell you
cocoon.
that because,
It's a cocoon effect.
yeah,
And once you develop your emotional intelligence and you're able to flourish, turn into a butterfly.
yeah. But since we can't talk about emotional intelligence and not say anything about how that can actually be improved. So, what are your thoughts on improving emotional intelligence? Because there honestly, I don't want to play the sandwich game, but there are some women that don't have emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
I've come across some that only know how to express anger. Like you're a horrible lover because you don't know you're very shy when it comes to expressing love, but very comfortable in expressing anger. And I was like, that don't match.
For some people. So depending on what you go through in life, certain characteristics come about as a form of protection. So if you're this hard macho person, of course you're gonna have that soft, gentle person inside, but you have to break through the exterior in order to get interior. So different ways that you can tackle that is making sure that you're with the right person. One, because if you're a lot of people, they go after what they're used to. Step outside of your element and try something different. Don't always go with what you're used to, because what you're used to will have you with the person that forces you to be that hardcore exterior. Go with somebody that challenges you to be a better person or challenges you to be softer.
I think that's a very difficult point though, because there are a lot of relationships where the person will challenge you, but they're not challenging you to be softer. They're challenging you to be harder. As in, okay, I'm going to press you to the point of anger, and then I'm not going to, once I press you to the point of anger, I'm not going to say, hey, I need you to express to me verbally how you feel. I almost want to say that never happens, but I'm not in every relationship. But I think that it's so much that we're pressed that we will say, "Oh, I'm pressing. I'm not being hard on you. I'm trying to press you to be better." But I'm not actually helping you be better because I'm only helping you to be angry.
But you know what? People need to communicate, because you should be able to speak up for yourself enough to let the other person know what you need. If you're sitting there and you're frustrated and you're in this bubble and you're like, oh, I'm about to burst, and that person is pressing you, pressing you, pressing you, eventually you're going to burst and then it's going to be a mess. But if you communicate, sit down and communicate, listen, this is what I need. And then that person, it's up to that person to meet your needs. If they can't meet your needs, what are you doing? Or you have to figure out ways to work around it. But if they're really not meeting your needs, your expectations, and where you see yourself in life, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. You really have to think about stuff like that.
Yeah, and I don't think a lot of people think about that. So
yeah,
I put my thoughts on it when it comes to emotional intelligence and being able to communicate.
Mhm.
This really, 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 really takes. The only way to actually make this happen for
Mhm.
you to grow in emotional intelligence and to grow in communication is to practice it.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of times we don't practice it
Mhm.
because we are afraid of how the person that we're with is going to receive it.
Mhm.
And that's the issue. Because, so, if I can, for one, okay, let's talk about the practice part first.
Mhm.
So, when it comes to practice, like I've said before, I have 5 sisters. No, I'm sorry, 4 sisters. It's 5 of us total.
Mhm.
I have 4 sisters, right? And most of them are older than me. So as a child, when I got upset with my sisters, I would like try to run at them and try to hit them.
Mhm.
And my sisters labeled me as the raging bull. But when I did that, most of the time I lost until I got bigger. But when I was like elementary, I lost because they were bigger than me. They had a little bit more experience than me. It was whatever. I think because I don't really remember losing, but I'm pretty sure I lost. But I do remember that at the point where I knew, where I knew for a fact that I could beat my sisters, I reached the point where there was no need for me to actually fight them because I'm not gonna fight you because I already know I can win. And that's where I got really dangerous. I got really dangerous because I was able to learn how to talk. And if I can literally I can shred a person up with words alone and never throw a punch because I was able to practice being able to communicate in a way that would get the influence that I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So I was able to get the influence of hurting their feelings. But it did help me because now, and I was able to do what a lot of men and a lot of women nowadays aren't able to do. And that is to express myself verbally.
Please like, comment, share, and subscribe.
To get my point across. And what happens right now, not what happens right now, but what has happened for a very long period of time since we were free from slavery, pretty much, is men, and most especially black men, don't have that ability to communicate verbally how we feel. So the only way we know how to express our feelings is through sex or violence. So I can express how much I love you through sex. I can't express it in words other than me saying I love you. Or I can't express my hurt, my anger, my rage, my depression. I can't express that in words because I don't know how to say it, and I don't know how you're going to receive it. Therefore, the only way I do know how to express it is through violence because that's the only thing I've ever learned.
Yeah.
I learned how to be violent, but I didn't learn how to speak. I learned how to help you. I learned how to tell you the words that I need you to understand of how I'm actually feeling right now. We went through that last week, but when we actually started running through, and I started to express to you how I felt, and you were like, "Oh, okay." Now, if I can give you the words, I can help you understand how I feel so that you can make the necessary adjustments for us to work together.
Mhm.
But there's so many men and women, but definitely men, and I'm gonna speak more for men. I'm gonna always hold men accountable because we have to be held accountable.
Mhm.
But we don't understand how to communicate verbally.
Yeah.
So the only thing we have left to resort to is physically.
Mhm.
We, as a community, women need to understand that because because you're great at speaking and talking because girls talk sooner than boys and boys play more but girls talk more and amongst each others.
Mhm.
Excuse me, lips got dry. But if women can understand that men do not normally grow up with the communication skills,
Mhm.
you will be able to understand that if you are able to shred me with words,
Mhm.
but I don't know how to use words, all I'm going to use is what I know how to use. And all I've ever learned to do was to react physically. So when and how do you fix this?
Yeah.
How do? Cause big on don't bring me all the problems and none of the solutions.
Yeah.
Women being capable of shredding somebody with words has to be disciplined enough to not use the words for shredding us,
Mhm.
but using the words to help us communicate. So women are going to have to speak less out of emotion and more out of reason in order to get men to pull those words out of us. So women have to have that self discipline of not telling us how much we suck at life and
Mhm.
saying, but sitting down calmly telling us, because with if you come to me with the heat or you come to me with aggression and I don't know how to communicate, all I'm going to do is respond with physical aggression because that's all I know how to do.
Mhm.
And I know a lot of women want us as men, y'all need to fix yourself, y'all need to get counseling, y'all need to know how to talk, y'all need to know how to have emotional intelligence. But if we don't have it, then how are we supposed to gain it? And if we don't even know how to talk, why would we want, or how would we be willing to go to counseling?
But that relates all the way back to what you've been saying. Hold yourself accountable
Yes.
and go read the books. Go do the research.
Mm-hmm.
Don't place it on the female
I'm
because
yeah.
because female we can only do so much.
You're right. I
So
appreciate you calling me out for that because it is true.
mhm.
Men have to do the work ourselves,
Yeah.
but there is no but. We got to do the work.
Yeah.
We got to do the work. But if you understand that we have to do the work,
Mhm.
and you understand that we
And that doesn't go
are,
without saying. Females have to do the work too.
yeah,
Of course, you have to know how to speak to your mate. You have to know when when to add sugar and when to add salt. Because
and
sometimes you do have to sprinkle a little salt because it's like, okay, the emotional part didn't work.
mm-hmm,
Then you switch over and you start speaking from logic and reason.
yeah,
And then that's when they're like, oh, dang,
yeah,
okay. Then they recognize the fact. But as females, we try with sugar first.
yeah,
So we try to be sweet and tell you, hey, babe,
yeah,
this is that. and then it just goes over your head, and then you build up this, not animosity, but you build up this emotion that is like, okay, we gotta get this together. So then you go at them out of a sense of reasoning, because it's like, let me reason with you for a minute, and you
Mhm.
start running down the facts, and then you're like,
I
okay,
don't think
everything makes
everybody.
sense.
I don't think every woman goes out of reason. I think
It
a
sounds
woman
like
might go
nagging.
out of
It sounds like nagging from a
sometimes
male's
nagging,
perspective.
sometimes just frustration because
Hmm.
I said it one time and you
Hmm.
didn't pick it up.
It's all in the tone too.
Yeah,
You have to watch your tone. You have to watch your body language. You just watch how you speak to people in general,
yeah.
because
I know a lot of times. Okay,
yeah, because people are watching.
yeah.
You have to present yourself in a certain way.
I know a lot of times that we say. I've heard in conversations that men need to understand that women how women are,
Hmm.
but I don't know if women understand or give the grace to men to understand that how men are
Hmm.
and the lack of communication that we have not being so much as our our want to not communicate but
Hmm.
our inability to communicate.
I can see that because a lot of men don't have like an outlet,
Hmm.
so you don't have anything to plug into.
Because we're taught from day one, don't cry, man up,
Yeah.
man up, don't cry, men
it's,
don't
it's
cry.
it's like a form of like a weakness.
So if I learn that I'm not supposed to cry,
Hmm.
I'm essentially learning I'm not supposed to be emotional. I'm only supposed to be strong.
Yeah.
Therefore, when it comes to conflict, a verbal conflict, the only thing I know how to do is to react physically strong because I don't know how to verbally be strong.
Hmm.
So, um, and I still don't want to give any excuses to men,
Hmm.
but I can say that it's only in the last like 5 years where it's actually finally started to be like, oh, men are supposed to, men should be able to show emotions as well.
Hmm.
I wouldn't even say the 10. It's not been the last decade. It's been like the last 5 years, and that's being gracious to
Hmm.
say it's been 5 years that men are supposed to have emotions too. What? Yeah, it's
Have emotions, but not like like being dramatic,
yeah,
blowing things out of proportion.
but yeah, but sometimes it's I don't know. Hey, there's blowing things out of proportion.
Make it something small,
That's
big.
different, huh?
Make it something small, like a big issue.
Well, then this comes to what's small, what's big to one person may not be big to the other person.
Hmm.
But I just where did we come from? I don't know. I do know that we need to be better as a community,
Yeah.
and the biggest I say all that to say everything I said is a mutual grace.
Hmm.
We have to have grace for one another
Yeah.
because I think on both sides we will look at everything that we got to go through
Hmm.
and say that what we're going through is greater than what the other person is going through.
Yeah.
So therefore, I am I am giving you. I'm saying I'm going through all this. You're not going through everything I'm going through. So you
Hmm.
need to have grace for me, but I'm not going to have grace for you because you're not going through as much as I'm going through. When in fact, that's not the case. We're all going through life.
Yeah.
Like life is life is a struggle
Hmm.
with So it's a lot of beautiful moments in it, but it's almost homologous,
Hmm.
like almost equal.
Yeah.
Yeah, my good days outweigh my bad days, but not by that much,
Hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
It's if my good days outweigh my bad days, and there was an election, I have to do a runoff vote because it's almost
Almost. See, it's not quite at 50.
yeah.